Did you know that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income or more? So even if you're getting to that first 6 figures, one of the key ways to do that is with multiple streams of income. A lot of people don't understand how to layer those in, but more importantly, they struggle with how to share them on social media. They feel like they're all over the place and it's just not cohesive with their brand, their messaging, their clarity, their visibility. So in this episode, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about multiple streams to multi-millions. We have, I want to say 30 some streams of income here at Gold Digger Girl Co. We've passed 8 figures in revenue. So I'm going to share with you going all the way back to when I first started and how I was able to build that up. So let's dive into the episode. This is for the person who is sick and tired of spinning their wheels. They see the potential of social media. They see what's possible. And they also are really struggling. They don't have a clear roadmap. They feel overwhelmed by all the different pieces of building that business online. And it's for those that are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. You don't want to be dependent upon maybe a job or feeling as if you don't have control over your financial future. That is who this is for. And if you don't know me, Kimberly Olson, I've been in the online space since 2011. So that's like a dinosaur in the online world. 13 years of doing this is a long time. And I'll tell you what, I really, really struggled for 6 years. I started a YouTube channel in 2011. I started a blog and I thought, oh, if I do this, I'm going to be rich and I can quit my job. And I limped along for those 6 years, either losing money or just breaking even. Not even close to considering leaving my corporate job because I was making enough that it was substantial and we needed that money. In 2017, we had just had 2 babies back to back, and we had bought the dream home, 2 new vehicles, and now we had 2 babies in daycare. If you know anything about daycare, especially in Austin area, it's super expensive. So I was sitting there thinking, okay, this is definitely not what the American dream is, right? We were literally living paycheck to paycheck, but we both had great jobs and there just wasn't enough month at the end of the money, right? So in 2017, my friend told me about network marketing and I was like super skeptical, but I was like, well, what have I got to lose? You know, what I'm doing isn't working. The blog isn't really cutting it. So I got into network marketing. I had my first comma check. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to quit my job. And then my next check was like $200, right? Because everybody who knew me bought that first month and then that was it. So that summer, I actually decided to really dive into this, to learn about social media and all of that, but also to work on myself because I knew entrepreneurship is the school of personal development. You cannot be successful unless you work on yourself. Would you guys agree with that? Let me know in the comments. So started working on myself. Actually had a decade-long battle with alcohol abuse. I think most of you guys know that. And I was really self-sabotaging, struggling with that. So I actually enlisted professional support. And I really worked intensely with a therapist and I was able to finally overcome that addiction. August 1st, just past 7 years of celebrating sobriety, and I plan on celebrating it the rest of my life. But when I did that, it changed my life because I was actually able to truly go all in with this, to really do the work I needed to do to understand social media, but how I was showing up. That was the most important thing, right? How I was showing up. So that fall, I started going live. I didn't know what I was doing, you guys. I was in my car. I'm like, hey, let me tell you about lemon water. Because my background, I have PhDs in natural health and holistic nutrition. I started a Facebook group called All In with Kim. I had 100 people in it. I didn't know half of them. And I just said, I'll coach you for free for a month. I'm going to let you, we'll set some goals and I'm going to coach you. I had a personal training background as well. Did that. And I noticed a lot of them were struggling with goal setting and just kind of like putting a plan together. But also a lot of them were asking me like, how are you doing this? Like, how did you start this group? And like, I want to do this. And I thought, oh, well, I just went live and I told people about it. And they're like, yeah, but like, how did you do that? I'm like, oh, I can tell you, I can teach you that. So I had my first workshop. I charged $15 a person. It was 90 minutes. It was on a Saturday morning. And my husband held off the babies. They were 1 and 2.5. Some of you were here back then. They were really little. And 90 minutes later, I walked out of my office and I had made $450 and I was hooked. I was like, what? So I had my network marketing. I had, my workshop income coming in. That spring, I launched Gold Digger Girl Co., had a boot camp, actually did a 5-figure launch for that and was averaging 6 figures in 90 days. I went part-time and I quit my job 6 months later. So if you're sitting here going, is it possible, right? Like, can I do this? Man, if you're willing to like put in the work and roll up your sleeves and just go all in with this. I mean, this is all I did evening, nights, and weekends because I was working full time. I was commuting 2.5 hours a day. My babies were little, but I was obsessed. I was just like, I am going to figure this out. And since then, I've been able to build a multi-million-dollar coaching business. Our podcast is in the top 1% of all podcasts. There's like 3 million of them. I've published 8 books. 5 of them have been international bestsellers. I've spoken on huge stages. And I share all that not to impress you, but just to kind of tell you what can happen. I grew up on food stamps. I grew up, putting our clothes in layaway at Kmart. Anybody OG Kmart people, we'd go to Kmart, pick out the few things and put them in layaway and go get them like 3 months later. I grew up just in poverty. There was a lot of challenges that I was up against mentally that I had to overcome. I basically had to rebuild myself. Was it hard work? Yes. Was it worth it? Absolutely. So if you're sitting here going, I want those kind of results, I want that kind of transformation, I'm here to tell you it is absolutely possible. You can do it. You just have to bet on yourself. You have to go all in. You have to develop the traits of a warrior: tenacity, discipline, and perseverance. If that's you, you're like, put me in, coach. I'm willing to do the work. I want you to put me in the comments. I want you to claim it right now before we even get into this work, because I am not going to talk at you for the whole time of these workshops that we're doing. Oh no, we're going to be working on your business. We're going to be working on you. We're going to get your ish together. We're going to get you organized, and we're going to get your plan. Okay. So that's what we're going to do together. That fires you up. Let me know in the comments, because I am also very fired up. And what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to pull up the workbook we're working through. So if you didn't get the workbook, you didn't print it off or anything like that, that's totally fine. We're going to go through that together, okay? We're going to go through multiple streams to multi-millions. Don't go get your workbook. Don't worry about any of that. We're going to go through all of that together, okay? So if you can't see it too well on the screen, don't sweat it. We're going to go through all of it together, and I'll make sure that you guys can see everything that you need to see with that, okay? All right, first up, chapter 1, the power of multiple streams. So go ahead and get out your pen and paper, because we're going to spend a good amount of time on this right now. Okay. So with the average millionaire generating 7 streams of income, go ahead and write that down. With the average millionaire generating 7 streams of income, it only makes sense to consider various ways to monetize my personal brand online. Go ahead and, I know there's a line there, but just circle, star, something with personal. I'm not talking about you being a glorified sales rep for your network marketing company. And just so you know, if you've not done my trainings, I have no filter. So I'm just going to tell you what I think. If you don't like it, I'm not for you. Okay. And I don't apologize for that. I believe that we all need to be transparent and honest to who we are, respectful, but also okay if other people have different opinions, right? So I don't want anyone to be a glorified sales rep. I don't want you to be blasting your network marketing company, yay, I'm the top leader, because if something happens with that company, you've just lost everything. Meaning you're not your company. You need to build a personal brand, because with a personal brand, you can do anything. Okay. You can pivot, you can launch something else. I'm positive if I launch deodorant today, hey, you want to get this deodorant? It's made out of dirt and it's got, probiotics in it. You guys would buy it. You'd be like, where do I buy the deodorant? Would you not? Say yes if you would, because you trust me. You're like, oh my gosh, I love Kimberly's stuff. Let me get her deodorant, right? The Gold Digger, we should totally launch that, by the way, the Gold Digger deodorant. That's a personal brand, okay? A personal brand is you. You are the brand. And for some of you, you're struggling with owning that. Okay. You don't feel comfortable being the brand. You want to hide behind something else. Now, can you do a faceless account? Yes, I have a faceless account, and it does bring in several thousands of dollars every month. You can do that. And I have experience doing this. So going into that space was pretty easy for me. So you can do faceless. And I also want to ask you, why do you want to do faceless, right? You still have to share about yourself. You can build a personal brand through a faceless account. That's pretty freaking sweet, isn't it? But it's about you and your story. People buy from people. People buy from those that they know, like, and trust, you guys. End of story, all day, every day. You've got to get that down, okay? Next, fill in the blank here. Depending on one source of income can be dangerous. Sometimes the future can be unpredictable. Therefore, it is wise to diversify. Has anyone here been let go of a job before? Have any of you been let go from a job? Or your network marketing company closed, or you were doing affiliate and it went south? A bunch of you did some affiliate stuff with me last summer, and it went south. Okay, I've been there. I've seen so many crazy things happening in the online space. When I was 8.5 months pregnant with Elise, she's my youngest. So my sales director, the VP, asked me to come. She was now flying to Austin and spend the whole day with me to go over the territory and all the things. And she was kind of like the devil wears Prada. You know what I mean? Like, so I got, my nice boots on. I'm looking all dressed up with my big old belly, spend the whole day with her. And at the end of the day, she says, and also the company's not doing really great. So we're going to consolidate your territory and have the other ones absorb it. And we're eliminating your position. I was like, oh, so you weren't here to spend the day with me. You just wanted to get intel, right? How in the world do you go and get a job when you're 8.5 months pregnant, especially because I was in sales and training? So I tried interviewing on Zoom, right, remotely. And, you couldn't tell on my face I was pregnant. So I was getting second interviews, third interviews. And this one job I really wanted, they wanted me to fly to California. And I was like, can't fly to California when you're almost about to have a baby. And I'm almost embarrassed to say this out loud. Did any of you moms have postpartum? I had a postpartum with both of my children. It's a wonder. Like, it's just a miracle that we can do what we do. Had postpartum and had the baby, Elise. And I can't make this up. I can't believe I'm saying it out loud, but had the baby. You know how they take them off to like clean them up and do the things? I got out my phone and I found the last email with the people that in California. And I said, I had made up some story why I couldn't fly out. I was like, actually, I can be there as soon as Friday. Like I just had a baby and I was emailing them because that's how desperate I was. That's how afraid I was. That was how I wasn't in that joyful, like you just had a baby moment. I was in the, oh my gosh, how am I going to provide for my family? Right? Like I'm the breadwinner. I didn't have a job. I swore in my life that moment that I would never let someone else tell me if my services were needed. That I was going to figure out how to see myself as valuable. I was going to figure out how to make my skills marketable. I was going to learn how to be able to provide for my family and it not be dependent upon somebody else. And I'll tell you what, the skills I've learned and I'm going to teach you guys, I know confidently if Gold Digger was, taken away tomorrow, that I would be able to start over and rebuild and bring my Gold Digger team back on staff as soon as possible. I know that. I know it in my DNA. Are you confident in that? Do you feel that confident in your ability to make money? If not, why not? That's the gap. That's what you need to close. That's what you need to figure out. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I want you to feel as confident as I do in my financial future and my ability to make money online and have a brand that you love. Like you guys can all do this, okay? So let's talk about what multiple streams can do for you, okay? So you can fill this in the blank or fill the blanks in. All right, first up, achieving financial independence. So go ahead and fill that in your workbook. Okay. Achieving financial independence. Did you guys know? I just researched it again yesterday or the day before to make sure my numbers were updated, which was interesting because it hasn't changed that much. The median household income in the United States, and I know we have global representation here, but you guys get the idea. Median household income is $75,000. That seems high, right? Sweet. Like it's gone up. Well, of course, the cost of living has gone up as well and inflation. The average family expenses, average household is $85,000. So I was trying to do the math on it in my head last night when I was trying to fall asleep. Does anyone else have a mind that just goes and goes and goes? Like I think I created like 5 new products in my head last night. Okay, hold on. So if you've got $10,000, we're short divided by 12 months. Okay, so the average family is $833 short per month. Can you guys resonate with that, with your bills? Are you like, oh my gosh, so I'm not overspending. I'm not crazy. Like we really are short. Okay, if you represent the averages, some of you are above, some of you are below that. How crazy is that? The average family cannot afford the cost of living right now. I'm not subscribing to that. I'm not going to sit here and complain about interest rates and, the government. I'm not participating in that. I don't participate in recessions. My net worth has gone up since we went into our economic downfall. Why? Because I don't look at it that way. I'm going to challenge you to do the same. Don't be a victim, guys. We don't have to participate in that. We can rise above it. We can create our own financial independence. Number 2, multiple streams can create greater stability and safety. Okay, greater stability and safety. Okay, who here has had where you can't go to sleep at night or you wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat because you have so much anxiety over your bills and your finances? I mean, the number one cause of divorce is financial issues, right? I would suspect it's also a big problem for other areas of your life as well, right? Being in a job that you can't stand because you don't have that safety net built up. So staying in a job that you can't leave because you don't have a plan B, right? Well, greater stability and safety allows you to have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, a plan E. That's what we're all about. Okay. We want to build up our net worth. We want to build up our income. And we're going to talk about active income today and passive income, or maybe it's tomorrow. I can't remember. I'm so excited about everything we have for you. We have a lot of new training for you guys today. It's so awesome. Okay. We're going to get into it. All right. Number 3, scaling faster. Okay. Scaling faster. So what's cool about multiple streams is that you can learn how to make more money without doing more work. That's what scaling is. If you've ever been like, what are people talking about scaling a brand, scaling a business? What it means is where you can bring in more without doing more. Okay. So instead of one-to-one coaching, because you can only have so many clients, you might go to group coaching, one-to-many, right? One of you and then say 50 students, okay? You can bring in more money that way, but you're not working more. So you can scale faster when you have multiple streams. Heck yeah, you've got multiple things going on. You start learning about passive income, portfolio income, bring it all together. It's going to be epic, okay? Number 4 is a flexible schedule from home, okay? A flexible schedule from home. We love the safe corporate job. And actually, I pulled this up. I'm not going to screen share because you guys should see. I have to do a video. I'm going to do a video for YouTube. It's on my list of my back office setup. You guys, if you could see what's happening right now, you would get in your car and drive away. Okay. So let me just tell you what I was going to show you on screen because I'm not about to pull up another thing, but I have 2 huge monitors and all this stuff going on. It's kind of comical. Okay. So let's talk about the highest paying jobs, okay? All right, well, let's just say this. I'm going to give you actually U.S. News and World Report's best jobs of 2024. Nurse practitioner, median salary is $121,000. How many of you might be a nurse and you may or may not love it. Some of you don't want to be a nurse. The next one is a financial manager. Who here is like, no, thank you. I don't like numbers. Tori's our finance manager. She's like, talk nerdy to me. Like she loves talking about the numbers. So financial manager, 139,000, software development, 127, IT. You would think IT would be like $500,000, right? IT is 164, physician assistant. How much schooling is that? 126,000. Like they should be paid way more. Okay. The rest are pretty much medical or information security data, pretty much all of them. Okay. So if you go and do those things, how much college do you need and education and student loans and years off of the work, out of the workspace to be able to get the degrees and the training for those jobs? And then at the end of it, you make just over $100,000. Like, did you guys see the cost of living we talked about? It's $85,000, the cost of living. So what if you want to put money aside for your children's college? What if you want to go to Disney and take your family and pay cash? What if you want to go? I have it on my vision board is a really nice Rolex. Okay. I know it seems ridiculous, but it'll hold its value. What if you want to go pay cash for a car, for a vehicle? We only pay cash for our cars. You can't do that if the cost of living is $85,000 and then look at these numbers for the best jobs of 2024. So flexible schedule from home. The safe corporate job is so $19.99. Okay. It's just not a thing anymore. And by the way, if you have a job you love, that's great. My husband works for Texas Parks and Wildlife. He loves his job, He's going to be there forever. He's going to retire. And I love that, right? I love that he's happy and loves his job. I'm just saying the mindset that we have grown up with, all of us here most likely have been told, go get a job, go to college and you'll get a good job and you'll be all set. It doesn't work that way anymore. Okay. And number 5 is living your dream life. What can multiple streams do for you? Allow you to live your dream life. Okay. If you want true wealth, if you want to change your family tree, if you want to make an impact, this is how. This is what I will tell you. People will look at me and kind of go, oh, wow, she just wants, more money. I've had people say that like, oh, you and all your millions, right? Like you're so greedy. And I'm like, are you kidding me? We have a nonprofit called Elephant Sisters where we support women in our community and their families. When people reach out to me, I get requests quite frequently. Please don't take advantage of me. And I'll have a friend that's like, oh my gosh, we just found out about this family, or our neighbors were like, we just took in 2 kiddos. It's a foster situation. Boom, drop everything. And I support them. I'm able to spend the money and help those people. People that are good, we want to support them having more money. I know you guys are good. We only attract people who have good hearts. So why wouldn't you want to be those people, right? Living your dream life, living generously and abundantly, being able to give, like, yeah, that's what it's all about to me as well. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving. Okay. Here's some extra things to think about. The power of multiple income streams, financial security and stability, right? So we talked about that. Accelerated wealth building. Who here wants to build true wealth? Put me in the comments. So what is true wealth? True wealth is where you can, let's just say, first off, to start with, you need to have a net worth in the positive. That would be the first step. So you have your loan on your house, you have your mortgage, you have credit card debts, different things that you have more equity in your home, for example, cash in the bank, money and investments. That would be the first level. And then the next level would be where you don't need to work. You have enough assets producing for you. So we'll get into different things, but our rental property, for example, we have an investment property that pays for the investment, or the property pays for the mortgage, it pays for all the things and then some. We have more of those. Now we have all these investment properties producing. I don't have to work. Scott doesn't have to work, for example. Okay. Increased opportunities for growth, obviously. Enhanced flexibility and freedom, resilience against economic downturns, right? We don't have to participate in the ups and downs and be stressed out about. Please don't watch the news, by the way. Just don't do that. Continuous income flow. Multiple income streams ensure that continuous income flow. That way, if you are let go from your job, your network marketing company compresses their comp plan, one of your accounts, something happens with it, you have multiple things with revenue coming in to get you through that little hiccup that you may have. And leveraging passive income, we are going to talk about passive income today. So excited. So types of income streams here. So we have active, passive, and portfolio income. So we are going to talk about that right now. That's awesome. I was not sure. Okay. So active income is the money you're earning in exchange for performing a service or completing a task. So there's some examples here so you can kind of see what those look like, but that's typically when you have a job, would of course be active. I always say you're trading time for money is sort of a negative way to describe it, but that's basically what it is. You have to spend your time doing something to get paid. So it doesn't have to be a corporate job. It can be if you do social media management and you handle other people's social media accounts. You only get paid if you produce the social media content, manage their accounts, but that takes your time, right? So requires ongoing effort, directly tied to the number of hours you work. So with active income, I will tell you guys, you will hit a dead end with how much you can make with active income, even if you increase your prices. So I know someone who she pretty much does more one-to-one work, and it's high ticket. It's a really high investment to work with her. And I also know that you can only take on so many clients one-to-one. So she's capped at her income. Like she can't scale it. She can't go up unless she does significant price increases, which at a certain point, the market's not going to support that. So the benefits are the steady income. I call it right now money. There's nothing wrong with active income. There's nothing wrong. I actually think it's admirable if people are really struggling even to get their businesses going and they say, you know what, I think I'm going to take a part-time job. Or I might even look at going back, back into corporate. There's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes that's the path for you. Never feel bad about that. I think there's just shame around that. And that's weird. It's better to be responsible. So that way you have some money coming in. So the stress of money is reduced. So you can focus on learning the skills to generate income online and get your business going. None of you ever feel bad about that or apologize or, well, I still have my job. That job is paying the bills. I think Bob Proctor talks about that. I think he did talk about that. And I feel like it was him, but we'll say it was him, but I'm not 100% positive. But the job you have now, that's that right now money, imagine it was gone and you struggled for work for 6 months. how grateful would you be to have that job? You'd be so grateful. So be grateful and know that there's other ways. There's other skills that you can develop in expanding your income. Okay. Now, of course, if you are in a job, I would definitely consider asking for a raise, looking for promotions. Also, I do this a lot with our high level programs is I do attract people who are doing really well in corporate. I will work with them so they can work their way out of their job and go into contract work. So often they'll end up significantly reducing their hours, go to contract instead of employees so they can also do other things. And typically they end up making the same, if not more. It's super weird, but it's awesome. Okay. So you could also look at that too. Passive income is earned with minimal effort or active involvement once the initial setup is complete. So I will also say with passive income, I feel as though there's been a little bit of a misconception on social media. Think of it this way. When we say passive income, if you see content creators like me putting a lot of stuff out there, when we say passive income, what we mean is that money can come in without you necessarily doing something to have that money come in, but there's always work at the beginning or even maintenance. Okay, so here's an example. If I do a reel right now, and maybe I made the reel 3 months ago, and I popped the reel up on my Instagram account, and the reel says, drop guides to get my awesome guide on affiliate marketing, and people put the word guide. We have ManyChat set up where we'll automatically DM them. Hey, this is Kimberly's bot, goal getter Gabby, and I have a couple questions for you. So the bot will go, tell them about our membership program. They'll click through and purchase. They might sign up for our membership program. It's $1,000. And that happened passively. Is that making sense? But did I create the reel, even if it was 3 months ago? Did I set up the ManyChat, right, to get all that connected? Yes. Did I create the program that I'm selling into? Yes. So passive income isn't you're sitting on your couch, eating Little Debbie's or whatever. Like it's not passive. You're on a beach and the money is just flowing in. You can set it up to have that money coming in. And that's what we want. We always want to work smarter, not harder. Want to think about automation. We are going to go over tools either today, this afternoon, or tomorrow. We're going to go over a bunch of tools to help you get organized with your business. So that will help you start thinking about the big picture on that. Okay. So you can see passive income, some heuristics. You have that initial investment. I want to give you some examples, and I want you to be thinking about which ones you're going to lean into. So in your notebook, if you don't have this workbook printed, in your notebook, I want you to jot down some ideas for passive income that you want to pursue. Okay. So examples are rental income from properties, earnings from a blog or YouTube. We get checks every single month from YouTube, from Amazon, I've been an influencer since 2011, our books, our audios. We get all kinds of checks every month. Poor Tori has to organize all of that, but we always celebrate all the line items, right? So that's some examples is you can earn money that way. Royalties from books, music, or patents, dividends from stocks and shares. Okay, so that's some passive income. Of course, we all know the benefits. Pretty awesome. The final area we want to talk about with different types of income is portfolio income. So this is from investments in various financial instruments. So I'm actually, let's see, I think I put it, oh yes. Abby, do me a huge favor. On the multiple streams working doc, you'll see I highlighted it. Oops, I just clicked it. Let me see where I highlighted it so you can find it easily. You'll see Marissa's link under session, diverse paths to wealth. You'll see Marissa's link on the sidebar. Can you put it in a chat for everybody? So for portfolio income, this is where you'll work with a financial advisor and you can actually build up a portfolio. So you have interest, dividends, capital gains, buying, selling stocks, mutual funds. I actually know how to do that stuff. And I do geek out a little bit because I have that nerdy side of me that just loves numbers and math. And most of you don't, or it's over your head, or it's outside of your skill set and you don't need to be spending time learning it. You can actually work with a financial advisor. So Marissa is mine. I've used her for, I think, 4 years now. And I can't make any income claims, but I will tell you that the investments, all the income she's managing of mine increases way above the market. Let's just put it that way. So you can actually book a consult with her. I did tell her I was going to share that with you guys. So get on her calendar so you can see how, even if you put a little bit away, right? And she can help you with other things too, such as college, putting money away for college, that kind of thing. Okay. The best advice I can give you guys is don't go it alone. Don't put your head in the sand. It's not going to change your situation. It really isn't. It's just going to delay things. And put me in the comments if you did put your head in the sand and then suddenly you had to pay for college for your kids and you really wished you would have planned ahead a little bit. Or you're entering retirement right now and you are not where you want to be and you really wished you would have not put your head in the sand and you would have taken the time to get some help here. Okay. So we just want you to not be alone doing this and also like take responsibility, you guys. If you don't do that, none of us can. Okay. Sorry, if you can't find it. Okay. So portfolio income, you can see the different examples there for that. Assessing your current income streams. Okay. So this is what we're going to do for this section here. And then I'll give you time on the break to work on this. We're not at break yet, but just so you know, I will give you time to work on this. So don't stress out about doing it right this second. Identifying your income sources. So the instructions for this, you're going to list all the current sources of income you have. Include your primary job, side hustles, investments, and passive income. So we really want to capture everything so we can start to see that your primary job is a source of income. Maybe you have some investments, okay? Now, you might not be pulling from your investments right now as income, but is it producing revenue? Start looking at this differently, okay? We're not talking about you get a check in the mail from your employer. I want you to start thinking differently of, for me, I know with Gold Digger, I think there's like 100 and I want to say there's like 100 and we'll just say 100 different line items when Tori does the monthly revenue. And then I also know we have our rental property producing income. I have investments in different things. So we have, I just got a check for a conservation easement thing from a few years ago. And Scott's like, what's this? I'm like, oh, we just get these random checks. So that's awesome. We want those random checks. So it's all these different things. If you can start seeing it that way, you're going to feel very abundant. You're going to go, wow, like I have a lot of things going on already. And then you can just expand. Okay. So we want to know current income you have, the sources, list out primary jobs, side hustles, investments, passive income. Okay. Now for step 2, you're going to evaluate your income sources. So the instructions for this is for each income source listed above, evaluate its stability, growth potential, and the time and effort required to maintain it. So this is really cool because you may have never done this, but you're going to do an assessment. You're going to do an assessment, kind of an audit to look at where you're at right now. Your primary job, you might say, it's not stable. Like I'm on a contract that ends in December and I don't know if it's going to be renewed. That's not stable. But you might say, but it gets renewed every year. And I know if I didn't, I can find a job somewhere else in 2 seconds. Well, then it's more stable. Okay. Growth potential. Are you at a dead end job or are you at a job that has potential for you to grow, move into a different position, take on a leadership role? What's the time and effort? For time, think of, linear. For effort, I want you to describe it. What's the effort? Do you enjoy it? Is it easy? Or is it take a lot? It kind of sucks your soul, right? Or it's like more of an energy, okay? Energy vampire. Side hustles. You might be, and actually this just happened. There's this new content creator program that Amazon has, and they asked me to be a part of it. So I was looking at all of the brands that I could collaborate with, and there's requirements for promotion. And I was just like, that is not worth our time. I was looking at how much the products were in the commission payout on it. And I was thinking, are you serious right now? Like this doesn't make any sense for what else I could focus my efforts on, meaning creating a new course, right? Or putting some great content together. It makes way more sense for me to spend my time on that. But that wouldn't happen unless I didn't have the discernment. It would be so easy to go, oh my gosh, I want to be a brand influencer with Amazon. I'm so cool, right? I'm just kidding because some of you might be brand influencers. But in my mind, right, it's so cool to be a brand influencer. Not if it's not making you any money, right? Or you're spending a lot of time on it. So don't get caught up in that shiny object syndrome either, where when this is going to help you guys so much. Write this down in your notes. Shiny object syndrome. What that is where you jump into something without even assessing if it makes sense. Does it make sense for your brand? What's the ROI potential? What's the long term on it? Is it like a hot thing that's going to fizzle out in 3 months? Or is it you can see the longevity to it? You can see it going the distance. And how much time is it taking for you? Do you enjoy it? You want to do like a little analysis here for these new things that come your way because there's always going to be new things. It's your job to figure out, do those make sense? Okay. And then you're going to continue to assess your investments, your passive income, and anything else you want to add there, okay? Setting income goals. Your instructions for this are based on your evaluation, set specific measurable goals for increasing and diversifying your income streams. First goal, let's put a percentage down of your income growth. Okay. How much do you want to grow your income? So if you don't like math, you can also use ChatGPT to help you with anything with math and percentages. I actually help Addison with like very advanced homework by using ChatGPT. I don't let her use it. I do it and then I help her. So increase income. You could say, hey, ChatGPT, my current income is this. This is how much I want to be making. What's the percentage of growth for that? Okay. Or Google it. Goal number 2, start a new income stream in blank. In what? Like, what do you want to start another income stream in within the next 3 months? So maybe you want to start affiliate marketing. Maybe you want to launch a course. Maybe you want to do a membership program. Like there's other things that you want to do. We have a bunch of ideas for you coming up on different income streams. Goal number 3 is to reduce time spent on blank by blank hours per week by outsourcing or automating tasks. So if you have a job, you might not be able to outsource it. But if you, let's say right now, it takes you a long time to make your reels and add the captions or the fonts to it and do all of that and post that. And it's just so much. Could you outsource that? Could you delegate that? You can put that right there. Okay. Identifying skills and interests. Let's see, instructions, list your skills, hobbies, and interests that could potentially be turned into income streams. So you can list that out right there. And then brainstorming ideas based on skills, hobbies, and interests listed above. Brainstorm at least 5 potential new income streams. So I will be going over some ideas for income streams on this. So you can be thinking of some that came up already, and then we can add to it when you have new ideas. Okay. Research and feasibility. So instructions for this, choose 2 of the ideas from your brainstorm and conduct preliminary research to assess their feasibility. Okay. So if this is like, over your head, it just sounds smart or fancy. It's basically just think about your brainstorming ideas and then let's look into it a little bit. Okay. So if you're like, I want to start a blog. Okay. What's the potential market for that? Google that. Are new blogs having success? Is the blogging market saturated? What is it going to cost to get that blog started? How much time will it take you and how will you make money? Sometimes people will tell me, I just want to start a blog. I'm like, but why? What are we going to do with the blog? Of course, you can be creative to be creative, right? But let's monetize it. And then obviously there's a spot for another idea. Brainstorming your why, write down why this is important to you and what you will accomplish by having multiple streams of income. Think about your family. Do you guys sense my emotion when I was telling you how I've changed my family tree, how I've rebuilt myself? Like the woman you see here is very different than the woman 7 years ago. You could feel that. That's because my why has been so strong this entire time. Okay. So important. Hey, just have to interrupt this training to tell you something so urgent and so important. It's going to change your life. And that's the Proverbs Woman Virtual Summit. If you are somebody who wants to walk in wisdom, to be able to tie in your faith into your work and really at the end of the day, create wealth because it is biblical to be prosperous and abundant, then this summit is for you. I have the most powerhouse lineup ever. You can see the agenda and details below. There's a general admission. There's also an all access pass with some extra goodies. And you are going to be able to experience this with us live on Zoom, but you'll also get lifetime access to the recording. So look below this so you can get your ticket to the summit and I will see you there. All right. So we're going to jump into the second section here. We're going to talk about diversifying paths to wealth and exploring various income streams. So I really want to open your mind. I want you to start to think about maybe monetizing your skill sets. What are some other things that you can do to generate revenue? When I first got into the online space, specifically social media, I could see the possibilities with network marketing. And I also wasn't making very much from it yet to be able to even consider quitting my job. So I actually was a freelance writer for, was it yogalifestyles.com? I wrote articles for them every month and they paid me for that. I also did website design. I taught myself how to build websites back in 2011. And so what I would do is I would be the kind of creative on them and then I would outsource the tech part of it. I did that in 2017 and I made great money doing that just to fill in the gaps. My point in sharing that with you is if I wouldn't have said, how else can I make money? What are some other things that I can do? Then it would have taken me a lot longer to be able to replace my income. Okay. So that's just really something to think about as well. So I don't know if how well you can see it. Actually, let me 1 second. Let me just check something really quick here. Let me minimize this bad boy here. It's in my way. So with the items listed on the screen, I don't know how well you can see it. Let me just check something really quickly. Okay, let me just go to this page so that way I can see it better. Okay, I admit it. I'm 44, and maybe my vision's changing a little bit. I'm in denial. Okay, we'll just call it what it is. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go through some of these with you, but I just want you to think outside the box. So you're actually going to use this sheet here to be able to be thinking, kind of brainstorming a little bit. Do any of these resonate with you? Do any of these land with you? Do any of these make you go, ooh, maybe I could do that, right? So there's all kinds of things we can do. Academic tutoring. I mean, maybe that's something that you could do. Maybe you love working with others and helping them learn. Could you do that? Could you put up something in the Nextdoor app or Facebook Marketplace or wherever jobs are listed? Also, I know a lot of people who will speak English, virtually in other countries where English isn't the first language. Like there's all kinds of things you can do. Affiliate marketing, my personal favorite, Airbnb. So we actually bought, we rented out a condo. We bought it during it was 2019. Yeah, in 2019, we bought a condo. With the pandemic, the value went way up, so we ended up selling it, but we rented that out. We decided to build on top of a mountain in Angel Fire, built a beautiful home in the mountains, very significant investment. And we actually had that home for 2 years. And then we decided we just weren't using it enough. Our kids were getting older. We were starting to want to travel to other places and not always spend our vacations there. So we just started renting it out this year. And so is that something that you could do? Could you put a down payment, take some of your, if you have some cash or equity or whatever, and could you have a vacation rental? Okay, there's a whole science to it. But what's awesome, the amount of revenue we'll generate from that property is enough that would be, if I had a traditional corporate job, it's bringing in that much money. Okay, so it can be really viable. Do any of you have rental properties? Let me know in the comments. App development, art and collectibles. Maybe that's your jam, right? Blogging. I think blogging is a great thing to do. It's just making sure you're going to monetize it and you understand that. Bonds, brand ambassadorships. So with brand ambassadorships, I actually have a client, Jacqueline. So we're working on, I met her at a conference I spoke at in Nashville. So Jacqueline's Mom Like a Boss is her brand. And Jacqueline does multiple six figures and she only does brand deals. That's it. She doesn't have her own course. She doesn't do anything. All she does is brand deals. So if she has some cool thing for moms, she basically does like mom hacks. All these brands pay her to promote their stuff, right? And big brands too, like Walmart and things like that as well. So brand ambassadorships, if you can really get a following going, can be awesome. Catering services, we actually have a client that does that more in home, but she has a really great chef background, loves all of that. So she actually does some in-home catering type things and meal prep. And she also does stuff online. And she also has a cookbook and she has recipes and she built out meal plans. So catering services, like what are some things that you really love that you could turn into a service? Car rental. We all know what Uber and Lyft are and all of those things. Childcare services, cleaning services, coaching, another personal favorite. So we actually have coaching certifications for those of you that complete our program. So we can talk more about that if you're coming into any of our programs. Consulting. So consulting would be where instead of you being hired to work somewhere, that you actually would come on as a consultant. So typically you come on as a 1099 independent contractor and they're hiring you to consult them. Consulting is typically a high ticket investment or revenue stream. So this is where you're going to be charging $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month to consult another business, a corporation. So think about your skills. Could you, maybe you've developed, so one of my clients actually, she's a friend from college. I'm thinking of another client as well. So my friend from college, she's been in the IT space for, since she graduated college. So let's say 20 years. And she could easily be an IT consultant instead of working with the company that she works with. So if you have a large amount of or an in-depth skill set in something, a lot of experience, think about consulting. Consultants make a lot more than an employee typically because their perceived value is higher, but also the company isn't bringing them on full time. So they don't have to pay benefits and all these different things. By the way, benefits is not expensive. So if you're like, oh, I need my benefits. I have a guy. Okay. It's actually a girl, but I have a lady and we've we've worked with her for years and years and years. Okay. But the employer is more likely to pay a high amount for the consulting because it's usually a specific scope that the person's fulfilling. Okay. Corporate training. That's awesome. So if you love training and teaching, I used to be a corporate trainer for a commercial cleaning company, courier services, crowdfunding campaigns, crypto, there's an opinion about that, but that could be something you could look at. Dance classes, right? So could you teach dance classes? Digital product sales. So that's actually something I'm doing a lot of affiliate work with digital products. I will tell you guys that space is growing. It's growing tremendously. So I think we'll be talking about that tomorrow. Digital products, but also digital everything, digital marketing, online marketing, social media, all of that. Dividend investing, domain flipping. So that's where you would buy a domain name. So let's say thegolddiggergirl.com, buy that domain, and then you could sell it. So this will be common for certain domains that people really want. Drop shipping business. So that would be where people buy products and you ship them out. So you could make the product. So for example, this right here, you could make it and then ship it out, or you could just be the person that fulfills it. E-commerce. So think of Shopify. Elderly care services, right? I used to volunteer at a nursing home and it really filled my heart up and I absolutely loved it. So maybe you love the elderly and you want to do some services there. Elderly care, it can even be doing their grocery shopping for them. So think of things that maybe you really like to do. Could you do it for somebody else and be paid for that? Etsy shop, obviously, that's a very obvious one. Event planning. Do you love events? Event sponsorships. So you're getting sponsorship for events. So sponsorships will help pay for the expenses of the event. So event sponsorship is where you would secure the sponsors. Exchange traded funds, EFTs, Facebook ad management. I do know how to do Facebook ads, and it is a skill set. It is not easy to figure out. So if you get really good at it, you guys, Facebook ads, you could easily build that into a full-time income. Okay. And I should have said this at the beginning. I'm not making any income claims. There's no guarantee in any of this. Choose your own to pursue any of this at your own risk. Okay. Fitness training. I actually used to do boot camps in my backyard. When I was let go from my job, I didn't have one. There's pictures of me with Elise strapped on my chest because she was like, I don't know, a month old. And I'm like telling people to do burpees and sprints and kettlebells and all of that. But it paid the bills while I was looking for a job, right? Food truck business, freelance. And by the way, food truck business, we have had clients do food truck. It's a hefty investment on the onset, but depending on location and, especially if you're buying an existing business, it can be viable. Freelance research services, freelancing, fundraising services. That's also like a really highly sought skill set because there's a lot of sales involved with fundraising. By the way, as I'm sharing these, drop in the comments. I want to see what you guys put over there. Let me know if any of these resonate with you where you're like, ooh, yeah, you can. No, Etsy has rules around that. We actually had an Etsy shop and we decided not to build it up because of the Done For You business that you guys know I'm an affiliate for. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that instead and sell things that are already made instead of creating stuff at Etsy. We also do have a client, Rebecca. She's in the Millionaire Mindset Experience. She has an Etsy shop. So she does custom gifts and different things. So the rules with Etsy is it has to be custom made. So you can't sell like cell phones on there. It has to be something custom made. You could custom make the cases and sell those. Okay. So we're on the F's here: freelancing, fundraising, furniture flipping. So that would be where you buy something, beat up, you distress it, make it look awesome, and then sell it. Graphic design services. So if you are good at Canva and Adobe and just the different things, that's a service. There's lots of people who would hire that out. Grant writing, handy. And we actually, guess what we're going to do? We're going to give you actual websites where you can actually find people to help you, but you could put your services on there as well. So it'll be a win-win both ways, okay? Fundraising, furniture flipping, graphic design, grant writing, handyman services. Any handy ladies out there? House flipping. Bettina is one of our students, and she does house flipping. It's also more of, she just has different language. It's the realtor language. I don't understand all of it. But a house flipping, I think you guys all know what that is, where you buy something, spruce it up, and then resell it for a profit. House sitting. Oh my goodness. That can be a really, really viable thing. And typically if people are traveling, then they have the discretionary income to pay someone to take care of their plants and their dogs and whatever. So if you want to do something like that, that can be very viable financially. Influencer partnerships. So that will be more of that, like Amazon, like I was telling you. By the way, is there something you really like? Reach out to the company and ask them, do they have an influencer program? Do they have an affiliate program? 9 times out of 10, they do. It's not always obvious, but always ask. And often, if they don't, they'll say, well, we don't, but what would that look like? And they can set you up with a code or something, and they can pay you out every time somebody redeems that code or clicks your link. Insurance sales, interior design, investment in real estate, junk removal services, language tutoring. So academic tutoring would be a little bit different than language tutoring. So language tutoring would be teaching somebody English or Spanish, but they kind of cross over there a little bit. Landscaping, I don't know. That's not my jam. Maybe it's yours. Lawn care, also not my jam. Legal services, of course, you need the credentials for it, but you could do that, right? Right now, maybe you're doing legal work for a company. Could you branch off on your own and do your own thing? Merchandising, mobile car detailing. There's people who that's their business. That's what they do, is the mobile car, right? Also, another thing to think about, you guys, is a mobile version of a business in your area. So pet grooming services at the end, but this is a perfect example. Mobile pet grooming, right? Or, maybe mobile, a nail salon, but mobile, right? So maybe you have like an awesome Airstream or something like that or maybe you come into people's homes and do it, but a mobile version, there's definitely a need for that, especially in certain more affluent areas. People will pay extra to have somebody to come to their home, okay? So we're on the L's. No, we're on the M's. Moving services, music lessons. Heck yeah, right? If you know how to teach music, that could be a great source of income. I used to teach spin class 3 days a week, and that when I was telling you guys about all the other things, writing the articles and all the things, I used to teach spin class 3 days a week. It was just, what's really cool about that, you guys, is the energy around it is saying, I don't want to say you're hustling, but you're hustling. And there is a time and place for hustling in your business. Hustling gets a bad rap, and it shouldn't. Okay. Hustling, the hustle culture. No, we don't want to feel like we always have to be working. We have to be on our phones and, forget sleep. You can sleep when you're dead, right? Not that, but there is a time and place to hustle, in my opinion. And it's in the build mode, in the build phase. If you watch anything worth doing, and it takes blood, sweat, and tears to build something to be proud of, then you slow down, right? Then you put systems in place. You get a team. You outsource things. You have some stuff on autopilot. But there's this build phase where it is a little bit of that hustle, okay? Energetically, though, you're sending this message to the universe that you're serious. You're sending this message to yourself to say, I'm willing to roll up my sleeves and do the work. I'm telling you what, you guys, and this is a huge part of what we teach in the Millionaire Mindset Experience. When you say you're going to do something, and some of you need to listen up if you're multitasking right now. Some of you say you're going to do something, and when you don't do it, so you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do a reel every day, and then you don't do it, you're destroying your self-image and your self-confidence, because then you don't trust yourself. So then you're like, oh, well, I don't know if I should have a business, or I don't know, who am I to want to quit my job, or I don't know if I would follow through. Like, you literally don't trust yourself. You have to do what you say even when you don't feel like it. Again, a trait of a warrior, but that's what rebuilding your self-image is all about, is that you do trust yourself. You do follow through. You do say what you're going to do even when you don't feel like it. You say what you're going to do even though you don't feel like it. That's really important, okay? So we have music lessons, mutual funds, nonprofit consulting, online challenges, like a workshop, webinar, all that, online courses, of course, right? I will say, I also know lots of people who have courses and they haven't sold any of them. So in the Millionaire Mindset Experience, that's what I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you how to market yourself. I'm teaching you how to fill a gap in the market, how to find your place online, how to get the leads coming to you. I'm talking attracting the right people, high quality leads to you, and making those sales. So these are all ideas, and some of it you have to learn how to actually market yourself and sell. Okay, marketing and sales are essential skills for every entrepreneur. Online marketplace. So I'll tell you guys a funny story. I sold Cutco cutlery knives. That's how I paid for college. I won a scholarship through them. I was like top 50 in the country. I was one of those people that was willing to do the work, right? And I booked lots of appointments, and it was all word of mouth. Anyways, did that for 7 years. Well, when I left, I was a just district manager. When I left, I had all of these Cutco knives that were brand new and they're very expensive, like super expensive. So I actually sold them on eBay and I came up with a whole method for it. Of course, are you surprised? And I sold them on eBay and I've made tons of money from all these knives that I had won and received over the years. And it rocked. So Amazon, eBay, right? You can have a marketplace. I know. I love my Cutco knives. Best knives in the whole world, for real. Online tutoring, painting services, peer-to-peer lending. I wouldn't really recommend that one. And it's there, meaning you can look into it and see what that looks like. Personal finance consulting. Oh, that's a great niche to get into for sure. Personal shopping services. How many of you like shopping? I worked with a stylist 2 years ago when we were getting ready for our conference, and we did a whole rebrand, and I worked with a stylist for a while, and it changed my life. It was epic, right? Because having someone that can do those kind of things for you and help you kind of develop your vibe and your look and all of that. There's a lot of industries out there where people need that, right? Pet grooming services. I think, is there more on here? Yeah. Okay. Pet sitting, photography, kind of obvious, but are you a good photographer? By the way, if you're good at content creation, could you do that for others? There's lots of people who need content. Could you market your services that you can help them record content, videos and reels and things like that? Podcasting, portfolio income, print on demand. So that would be where maybe somebody wants to have journals made up, different, things, you print them on demand. Printables and digital downloads, proofreading services. That's a real thing, guys. In the Lazy Girl's Guide to Making Bank, we have links for some of this in there too. Public speaking, you can be paid to public speak. It takes some time to get there, but you can. Real estate crowdfunding, real estate investing, rental properties, rideshare services, royalties from books, music, patents. SaaS, that's a good one. Software as a service. We're actually rolling something out in a few weeks here for our audience, so more to come on that. What's nice about SaaS is that when people use your services, you typically build in that reoccurring revenue, because once people sign up for it, I forgot to flip the page over here. Thank you. I'm on my own little page here because I can't see. So I had to put it on the other screen. Sorry about that, you guys. So we're on the S's at the bottom, selling handmade crafts. Also, if you do love handmade crafts, I would definitely look at Etsy for that. Social media influencing, kind of like the influencer thing, software as a service, stop photography, stop trading, subscription boxes, tax preparation services. Subscription boxes, I have an opinion on those. You just need to make sure they're profitable, but those can be really great too. Tax prep, tour guide services, transcription, travel planning and booking, vacation rentals, videography, virtual assistant. Put a star by that one. That's a huge industry. Everybody's looking for a virtual assistant, I swear. So if you think you would be good at it, you want to develop those skills, we actually have partnered with Christine Sarvi for her VA program for one of our certifications. So if any of you want to go through her VA course, let us know and you can get certified as a VA. Virtual events, hosting, voiceover work. So if somebody needs a voiceover with going with their video or whatnot, you can be the voiceover for that. You can also do that for things like Audible, audiobooks. They'll hire someone to read the books. Webinars, website flipping, writing and editing services, and YouTube channel. I think that might be the end of those ones. Okay. So we have 50 essential platforms for building multiple income streams. And you'll recap for me which ones are the ones that I just shared with you, or any ideas that you really liked. All right. 50 essential platforms for building multiple income streams. So these right here you don't need all of them. This is just a list for each category. Freelancing. So this is where you can find freelancers, but this is where you can put yourself out there for freelance work. I've used Upwork for over a decade. I love Upwork. It's really great for more technical stuff, but I've had people, some of the affirmation guided visualizations you've heard me read, I've had those written through Upwork. Website builds through Upwork. You can just find so many things. So you can put your own skills up there. Fiverr's also, it's not just $5, by the way, like it's a lot more than that. So Fiverr's awesome. These are great places to meet new potential clients too. Freelancer is another website, Top Tool, Guru. So you can see all of those. I'm just going to speak to the ones I've actually used. Investments, Robinhood. I've used Robinhood. Vanguard's another big one. Let's see. Yeah. So you've probably heard of some of these, but investment platforms, if you've not invested, I would recommend you reach out to someone like Marissa, a professional. So that way, what they do is they basically do a collection. It's mutual funds where it's a collection of different stocks and things like that. E-commerce, Shopify, that's a great one. Etsy, Amazon, eBay. We talked about some of these. Let's see, affiliate marketing, Amazon Associates. It's a bit hard to get approved now because they have so many people doing it, but you could look into that. ClickBank. So it's a whole website full of different things you can be an affiliate for. And some of these other ones are just like that too. Online courses and teaching, online courses and coaching. We've used Teachable in the past. We are actually moving over to Go High Level. We're just putting everything in there. So if you're new and you're like, where should I go with it? You don't need to worry about those platforms just yet until you have that course. And you don't really need the course until you have the audience established. So don't go and build the course first. You want to build the audience first. Otherwise, you end up having this course and no buyers. But also, like Heidi said, you're going to know what you need to do the course on once you really get to know your people. So Udemy is kind of like the lower ticket type stuff for courses. Kajabi's pretty traditional. We use Go High Level because it's so affordable compared to the other ones. And we can put our Go High Level affiliate link for you guys. There's some other ones there. Podius, it's okay if you're kind of a beginner. We've had some clients use that one, okay? But just some ideas for you to explore. Prioritizing income streams. So instructions are rank the top 10 income streams you are most interested in pursuing. Provide reasons for your choices. So I like that we're going to choose our top income streams that we want to go after. And if you're like, oh, I'm just not there yet, right? You're just like, I still want you to pick them because this is part of the process of goal setting and visualization and telling your subconscious mind, this is the plan. This is where we're going. If you don't start dreaming a little bit, as soon as you start to think of something and you, in the second, okay, this is how you know. The first thought is, oh my gosh, I would love to be a freelance writer. And then the second thought is, well, what would you write about or who would hire you? You don't even have any books. You're not an author. The second thought is not godly. That's lack, that's fear. It's not supporting you. The first thought is the one you want to honor. Okay. The first thought of, oh my gosh, that'd be so cool to be a freelance writer. That's the one. That's the winner. Write that one down. Okay. So if you started just kind of, getting in your head about it, just watch that. Okay. What came first? Top income streams and reasons for ranking number one. Like, why are you most excited about that one? Okay. So you can go through that gosh, I forgot to change my screen again. Okay. Let me just get off of this one over here. All right. Prioritizing income streams. You guys can see it on the screen there. So you're going to put top income streams and the reason for each. And you'll see a second page for that with a total of 10. And then we're going to get into your action plans for your top income stream. So this is where I said we're going to get to work on this. Okay. We're not just going to be talking about it. We're going to get to work. So if you feel uncomfortable, you feel some resistance, you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy right now, this isn't the right timing, that's all self-sabotage. Okay. That's what that is. So when you want to change, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this. You're over here on this side of the bank. And then there's the river of change. You're right here where you've been forever and it's safe. And I'm asking you to step in the river of change, which is uncomfortable. And you really want to go back here, but we need to get you over to the other side, the new version of yourself. This river of change is very much a fight or flight spot. You don't feel comfortable here. It feels unsafe. It's moving fast. Okay, that's completely normal. So if you notice like, I don't feel like I feel uncomfortable about this, that's growth. Growth is uncomfortable. Trust me, I have grown a lot in the last 7 years. It is uncomfortable. It's not easy. If it feels, this is easy, you're not growing. Okay, so it should feel uncomfortable. So your instructions are develop an action plan for your top 3 income streams, include steps needed, resources required, and a timeline for implementation. So income stream 1, what are the steps needed for that? So maybe you need to get a certification. Maybe you need to post something up on Nextdoor or see, should you create an account with Upwork and get your services listed up there? What are the steps needed? Okay, any resources required? So a coach might come into play for some of those. I would encourage you to be coaching if it's not with me. Invest in yourself, you guys. The thing is, we would invest in a heartbeat if our husband was like, hey, I want to go back and get my master's degree, or your kiddo came home and was like, hey, I think I want to go to this college. You would be, yep, let's do it. Let's figure it out. But for some reason for yourself, you're like, oh, I couldn't. Okay. It's necessary. It's necessary for growth, fast growth, quantum leaping, being able to move quicker to achieve your goals when you invest. Okay. Investing with a coach. So that might be a resource for you, investing with a coach, getting into a coaching program, learning how to market yourself on social media, income stream number 2, and so on. And then you can list those out. All right, goal digger, that is a wrap. As you can see, multiple streams are possible for you. You just have to have a good strategy around it. In addition, I want to invite you to our Proverbs Woman Virtual Summit coming up. We're going to talk about how to really tap into wisdom, work, and wealth that we can find right in scripture. I have an incredible speaker lineup, so you can look below this episode for that. And also, we are going to have some amazing Black Friday promos, Cyber Monday. So I am putting the link to get on our email list below this video as well. If this was helpful, subscribe. You can browse the channel. There are tons of awesome playlists. We're going to teach you how to monetize your brand on social and make money every day. And I appreciate you watching. Until next time, get lit in your business and set your soul on fire.